At 78, Cher, the queen of pop, finally breaks her silence on a name that might surprise you: Leon Russell. Not a pop idol or fashion icon, but a wild-haired piano-playing legend who lived in the shadows of superstardom while shaping its sound. So why is Cher, decades later, opening up about this mysterious musical genius? And what did she say that left the entire room laughing and reflecting? Get ready to discover the untold bond between two icons and the unforgettable man who rewrote music history without ever needing the spotlight. Leon Russell was born as Claude Russell Bridges on April 2, 1942, in Lawton, Oklahoma. From the very beginning, life threw challenges his way. A birth injury left him with partial paralysis on the right side of his body, affecting 3 fingers on his right hand. But instead of letting it hold him back, he found a new way to play music, his own way. At just 4 years old, he stunned his family by picking out a hymn called "Trust and Obey" on the piano, by ear. As he grew, he mastered multiple instruments: piano, alto saxophone, cornet, and baritone horn. By his teenage years, he was sneaking into Tulsa nightclubs with a fake ID, performing under the name Leon Russell. After high school, Leon skipped college and headed straight to Los Angeles. He wanted to be in the studios, not classrooms. But life in California wasn't easy. Strict liquor laws and competition made it hard to find work. He once said, "I almost starved to death." But he kept going. Eventually, he found his break. Leon Russell joined the Wrecking Crew, a group of elite session musicians who played on countless iconic records in the 1960s and 70s. Leon's piano could be heard behind Frank Sinatra, the Beach Boys, the Rolling Stones, Bob Dylan, and even Phil Spector's famous Wall of Sound. But Leon didn't want to be a nameless figure behind the music. He wanted to create. And in the late 1960s, he began writing deeply personal songs that blended gospel, rock, and country. His voice was rough, emotional, and real. People started to notice. In 1970, when Joe Cocker was faced with the threat of deportation unless he immediately toured the United States, he turned to Leon Russell. In under a week, Leon assembled a massive 20-person band and gospel choir for what would become the legendary Mad Dogs and Englishmen tour. The performances were raw, soulful, chaotic, and unforgettable. Leon didn't just lead the band, he commanded the stage. With his long hair, top hat, and thrift store basketball jersey, he looked like a rock preacher. And his music? It fused white gospel with black gospel, rock with soul. Even Elton John later said, "Joe was amazing, but it was Leon's band." Around the same time, Leon released his debut solo album, Leon Russell. It featured collaborations with Bob Dylan, Eric Clapton, George Harrison, and Mick Jagger. But it was his haunting ballad, "A Song for You," that became his true masterpiece. Written in just 10 minutes, it's been covered by more than 40 artists, including Ray Charles, Amy Winehouse, and the Carpenters. In 1971, George Harrison invited Leon to perform at the Concert for Bangladesh at Madison Square Garden, one of the first major charity concerts ever. He wasn't just a guest, he stole the show. Yet, even at the height of his fame, Leon Russell remained a mystery. He didn't smile for cameras. He didn't dress like a star. He didn't want to fit in. He wanted to make music that mattered. He co-founded Shelter Records, giving a home to artists like Tom Petty and J.J. Cale. The studio became a creative hub for soulful, gritty voices, including powerhouse women like Freddie King, Rita Coolidge, and Claudia Lanier. And somewhere in this whirlwind of sound and rebellion, his path quietly crossed with Cher. They shared mutual friends, Elton John, Delaney and Bonnie, and Phil Spector. They worked together on the TAMI show in 1964, where Leon was part of the house band backing up various stars. Cher even recorded a song he wrote, "Superstar," which would later be covered by Rita Coolidge, Peggy Lee, and others. But one moment stayed with Cher for decades. During a Wrecking Crew studio session, Leon showed up late and drunk. A rare sight for someone usually so quiet. Suddenly, he started cracking jokes, making everyone laugh. Then, Phil Spector, known for his explosive temper, yelled, "Leon, have you ever heard of the word respect?" Leon, cool and unbothered, fired back, "Phil, have you ever heard of the word?" Well, you get the idea. The entire room erupted. People were on the floor, crying with laughter. That moment, unscripted, chaotic, bold, was Leon Russel. But not every moment was filled with laughter. In the mid-1980s, Leon began to quietly fade from the spotlight. The industry had changed. MTV dominated, and synthesizers ruled the airwaves. Leon didn't adapt. He didn't want to. He retreated from the public eye, performed in smaller venues, and lived a quieter life. He faced financial troubles, studio ownership battles, and declining record sales. His health began to deteriorate, but still, he kept playing. Then, in 2010, something remarkable happened. Elton John, who once opened for Leon, reached out. He wanted to collaborate and remind the world who Leon Russel truly was. Together, they created The Union, a Grammy-nominated album that became Leon's 6th gold record. Elton John once said that paying tribute to Leon Russel was his way of saying thank you to the man who had inspired his entire career. That gratitude wasn't just about musical influence, it was about honoring someone who had blazed trails in silence, while others soaked in the spotlight. In his final years, Leon Russel lived far from the glitz of the industry. Tucked away on a modest farm in Tennessee, he remained almost off the grid. No paparazzi, no sold-out stadium tours, just a man, his piano, and the stillness he seemed to embrace. It was the perfect setting for a soul that had always spoken loudest through music. On November 13, 2016, Leon passed away peacefully in his sleep at age 74. The official cause was a heart attack, but those who knew him understood. His heart had already poured out everything it had into his songs. Though his passing didn't flood headlines, the music world felt the loss deeply. Cher, Elton John, Bob Dylan, George Harrison, they knew what he meant. They never forgot. Because Leon Russel didn't chase fame, he chased feeling. His music was raw, spiritual, messy, beautiful. And while there may never be another quite like him, his spirit lives on, in every piano key, every lyric, and every rebel who dares to be different. What's your favorite Leon Russel song? Let us know in the comments. And if you love true stories of forgotten legends, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Because some stories are too powerful to stay in the shadows. Thanks for watching.